There are a handful of questions that crop up a lot while streaming Diablo 2, ranging from fairly mundane to actually fairly complex topics. Today we're going to talk about one that I feel deserves a dedicated breakdown since I've yet to see one that covers it in sufficient detail, and that is imbuing, especially since the information you can find about it is all over the place. So today we're going to do a deep dive into it, and at the end I'll give some quick recommendations as to what to imbue and why. First off, what is imbuing? It's a quest reward you get in Act 1 by retrieving Charsi's Malice from the barracks located just off the outer cloister. It basically allows you to turn one white or ethereal, non-socketed item into a rare item. And while most of the time this isn't a concern, a lesser known fact is that you actually cannot complete the quest unless you are level 8 or higher, regardless of difficulty. And unlike the Ancients, there are no glitchy ways to bypass this that I'm aware of. As far as what determines the features of the rares that you get, that's where a lot of misunderstandings come into play, because there's actually 4 important factors in determining the modifiers you can get on an item through imbue. First is your character level, second is the item's quality level, third is the item's magic level, and lastly are the levels of the mods you are looking for. You may notice that nowhere in there do we mention the item's native item level or the difficulty you are doing the quest on. This is because neither of these are an actual factor in the item generation. The same is true as to whether the item is low quality, normal, or superior quality. These do not have an impact on the final item. First, we'll start off with the easiest to find information, and that is your character level. For imbuing, the first thing the game will do is take your character level and add 4 to it. This determines the end item's natural item level. So for example, if you're level 10, the item's natural item level will become 14. It does not matter where you found it, whether the monster that dropped it was a level 1 Fallen from Bloodmoor or a level 88 minion in Hell, it will have a natural item level of 14. Period. And this number, while not used a lot, is important to remember for items that have staff mods like staves, scepters, wands, druid pelts, etc., because this number is remembered in spite of the next few steps. Now, where things get quirky, and why some items can be better to imbue than others, even at low level, is because we take a look at quality level. While this does not change the natural item level, it does change the level of the potential modifiers you can get through imbuing, since if you have an item like a Seraph rod, which has a quality level of 76, the level of rare item modifiers you can get will be adjusted to be at least appropriate for a level 76 item. So if we go back to the level 10 character imbuing, we have a natural item level of 14 and a modified item level of 76, because 76 is, well, higher than 14. Whereas if you did this with a cap, which has a quality level of 1, the modified item level would be 14, since your natural item level is higher than the quality level. Now, we did mention a third level factor, and that is magic level. This is a modifier that happens after the item levels are determined, and only certain items have it. The most well-known are going to be things like diadems, tiaras, circlets, and coronets, but you also have magic levels on other items, though the ones we're concerned about are sorceress orbs, staves, and non-elite necro wands, since all other magic level items cannot spawn as white or ethereal. That said, what a magic level does is modify the level of the item, basically what it's counted for whenever it comes to determining the rare or magic modifiers an item can get, and it also bypasses the downsizing formula that usually happens to items based on their quality level. So at this point, we need to introduce some items, so we can show our math and explain affix levels and staff mods. And while this is a bit dry, this is the meat and potatoes of what determines an item's final result. We'll start with a level 10 character, as we had earlier, and we'll say they're going to imbue a cap, a Seraph rod, and a diadem. Starting with the cap, we have a quality level 1 item, so our natural item level of 14 sticks. Since it doesn't have a magic level, it enters the mundane item formula, where it checks the item level against the quality level and adjusts it. The first check looks at if the item level is less than 99 minus the quality level divided by 2. So in this case, is 14 less than 99? And it is. So we plug it in to the less than affix formula, which is item level minus quality level divided by 2. So 14 minus 1 divided by 2, which results in 14. Now, you're probably wondering why there are zeros in some places. It's because Diablo uses integer math. So 1 divided by 2 is 0. This means that the cap can have any modifiers that require level 14 or lower. So it could get the mechanics prefix, which is level 10, but not the visionary prefix, which is level 25. If we move over to the Seraph Rod, we have a quality level 76 item, and a modified item level of 76 as well, since it's, well, higher than 14. And since we again do not have a magic level, we enter into the mundane item formula again. So again, we ask, is 76 less than 99 minus 76 divided by 2? But in this case, we get a no. 76 is not less than 61, so we move over to the alternate formula for affix level, which is 2 times the item level minus 99, or in this case, 53. This means that the modifiers we have available to us can be up to level 53. This means the scepter can get +2 to paladin skills, since that's a level 50 item modifier, but it cannot get the cruel modifier for rares, which requires level 56. Though it can get these in spite of our character being only level 10 while doing the imbue. Now, by being a scepter, we actually have something else that gets checked for outside of these modifiers, and that is staff mods. These are determined by the number I told you to remember much earlier, and that is the natural item level. So these staff mods will be based on the fact that this is still a level 14 item. So you would see plus skills more in line with what you'd see from Drognin in normal than what you'd probably be expecting from an elite weapon, which elite weapons are usually limited to tier 3 and higher skills like Fanaticism and Fist of Heavens due to their item levels in the places they drop. But this scepter could give you plus Holy Fire, which would otherwise be impossible on an elite scepter. The last example is the Diadem. Diadems have a quality level of 85, which makes our modified item level 85 as well. But it also has a magic level, in this case of 18. And due to having a magic level, it goes through the magic formula rather than the mundane formula. This means instead of going through a reduction, it just gets boosted. In this case, we've got a modified item level of 85, and it's a magic level of 18 added to it, making the Diadem's affix level 103. Obviously, this is higher than 99, so it just gets cut down to 99, meaning that Diadems, when imbued, are guaranteed to be able to get any modifier in the game that is available on circlet-type items. If you're curious about the other circlet-type items, tiaras are quality level 70 with 13 magic levels, making them able to get modifiers up to level 83 at a minimum. Coronets are quality level 52 with magic level 8, and circlets are quality level 24 with magic level 3, which makes them a bit more restricted, but still not bad for their levels. It is worth noting that yes, you can do similar things with orbs, staves, and non-elite wands as well to get access to things a bit earlier than you might otherwise realize, as each of these have a 1-point magic level. Now, after that big offloading of information and formulas and stuff, you may be wondering, what all should you be using the imbue on? The cop-out answer is whatever you need it on. But if you're looking for endgame GG level items, then circlets are going to be your main go-to for the broadest use case, specifically diadems. However, there is a time and place to imbue high-level claws, scepters, and even wands, while using specifically a low-level character to gain access to plus skills for tier 1 and 2 skills. Most other GG items in a given slot can be gotten through the major crafted recipes, and even these items can as well, except for claws. That said, if you want to use Imbue to try for similar items, you can use the item formulas, or you can just aim for the general rules of thumb. 94 or higher for anything with staff mods that you want level 18, 24, and 30 skills on them, or as close to level 8 as you can go if you want low-level skills, such as, your level 1 and your level 6 skills, and the mid-80s for everything else if you want to be safe. Though it is worth noting that some items barely need to get into the 70s to get all their endgame mods, but we're talking blanket rules here. The 94 rule that is commonly mentioned is just to ensure that everything possible is available on the items. Obviously, these levels change even more if you're aiming for specific mods for, say, low-level dueling tournaments, but that's a bit beyond the scope of this video, though you do now have the tools to pick out the information needed if you want to take a real deep dive into it and determine what specific level you want to be to craft your low-level items. As always, I hope this was informative, and if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. I do read everyone, even if I don't always have time to reply, and a special thanks to the patrons, channel members, and viewers that make all this content possible, even the drier but informative stuff like this.